Hi, my name is Ann Puckett Harpold, and I'm from the M.A. Rooney Foundation. Today, I want to share with you exciting news about our Orton Gillingham card drill application. If you go to the M.A. Rooney Foundation website and click on the Professional Learning tab, you'll see on the right-hand side of the page that there are lots of resources for Orton Gillingham. Today, I'm going to click on the OG Card Drill app. You can see it takes me to the home page for our new app. And on this page, you'll see a message board. So any changes we've made or any updates, notes will be found right here. It also has a direct link back to some resources that we found on the Professional Learning tab. I want to share with you the quick start guide. There are some technical requirements which can be found on the first page. I want to draw your attention to the fact that our application will work on Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Safari. It will not work on Explorer. And wherever you build your decks on the iPad or on your computer, that's where your decks will be housed. And currently, it's not possible to sync between the devices. So that's important information for you to know. If I go back to the card drill application homepage, the other document that I want to share with you is called Tips and Tricks. And again, you can download this document as well. This is a very helpful resource and we continue to update it. As a matter of fact, we have teachers who are using our application with their whole class and they needed to make it work with the clicker. So we found an app that makes your phone a clicker so that you can use it like you would a PowerPoint in your classroom. My choices are My Decks, Build a Deck, Set Backup Provider, Home, and Remove All Decks. Today we're going to build a deck. This is the menu page. It's divided into a section on syllables, consonants, and visual. So to build our deck, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make some selections. So I'm going to select closed syllables. If you haven't gotten to a skill or a letter, you can simply deselect or you can click again to add that function. You can do the same by clicking on the letter. The next section is consonants. So I need to have some consonants, so I'm going to select those. I'm also going to select some H brothers, but let's just pretend we haven't gotten to the PH yet. So I'm going to deselect that. When I come down to my visual section, I'm going to go to tools and I'm just going to pick up a few graphic cards, some B's and some D's, so that we will see them in our visual drill. At the bottom of the page, I need to name my deck. So I'm going to name this Basic Deck Period 1. I'm not going to change the name of my deck as I work with a small group of kids, but I am going to change information in the notes section. The notes need to be important to me, so I'm going to put period 1. We're working on closed syllables, and I'm working with Juan and Sam and Macy. I'll hit complete. It shows that my deck has been added, and you can see basic deck period 1. My blending count is 1069. I've selected 34 cards. You can see my notes, the date that I've created this deck, and then I have another menu. Under this menu, you can see that I have an opportunity to do a visual drill, a blending drill. I can edit my deck, I can save my deck, or I can delete my deck. To show you how this works, we're going to select blending drill. Voila! Here are all the cards that I selected. And to use the drill with my kids, I just simply click on a card and it changes what the students will see. This is a wonderful opportunity to use with your whole class, especially in our socially distanced classrooms. You can also use it with your home learning or your e-learning with your kids by simply sharing your screen. As I'm moving through with the group, now I want to go back to my decks, and my kids have progressed. So I want to edit my deck. So I'm going to come over to the Actions menu, click Edit Deck, and this time we've moved on, so I can add some open syllables. I'm also going to add Magic E. And when I select Magic E in the syllable section, please note that you'll see that it's also been added under the consonant section. This is where you may want to deselect. Maybe you haven't taught CE or GE yet, so you can deselect those cards if you would like. I'm also going to pick up some beginning blends and some more graphic cards. I'll come down to the bottom. I'm not going to rename the deck, but I am going to change some information in my notes section. So I have closed and open and Magic E. And again, I'm still working with Juan and Sam and Macy. I'll hit complete. It lets me know that this deck name already exists, but I've made some changes. And when we go back to look at my decks, you'll see that our blending count has increased dramatically. We've also added cards. You'll see my notes have changed. And now when we go to the Actions menu and we go to a blending drill, you can see, again, we continue to click on the cards, but it shows that I have an open syllable because that's a new skill that this group is working on. I'm going to go back to my decks. Now I want to show you how to build a visual deck. So under my menu, I'm going to select Build a Deck. And this time, I'm not going to select any syllables or consonants. I'm going to come down to my visual section. And I'm working with kindergarten kids, so I'm going to select the primary picture deck. I'm going to go ahead and select all of the cards. I'm going to name it Kindergarten. Primary picture deck. And I'm going to be using it with period 1 students. As I select complete, you'll see that it's been added. And it takes me back to my decks where I can see my kindergarten primary picture deck. There's no opportunity for blending because I didn't select any syllables or consonants. And I'm going to look at my visual count, my notes created. And when I come over to my Actions menu, it doesn't even give me an opportunity to do a blending drill. But I can do a visual drill. First card will always be vowel consonants. Your tapping for sounds are to the right. You can click through the cards and you'll know you have completed all of the cards when it arrives back at the vowel consonant card. Make our way all the way through and we've completed that deck. You can also build other kinds of visual decks. So if I want to build a deck for kids that I'm working with in upper grades that are struggling with prefixes or suffixes, I can just go down to my visual section and hit suffixes. I can name the deck suffix only deck, and I'm working with small group 2. Hit complete. It's been added. It will show up under my decks. Again, when I go to the actions menu, there's not an opportunity for blending, but I can look at my visual drill. By clicking on the cards, it's just going to go through those suffixes. As your kids progress through the year, you'll want to continue to change the decks and the cards that you're using with them. So if I go to my basic deck, period 1, where I'm working with Juan and Sam and Macy, and I want to edit the deck, as we're progressing through, maybe we don't need all of the consonants. They've mastered most of them. Maybe we haven't gotten to the 2 sounds of S, so I'm going to leave that one there. Maybe they're struggling with the 3 sounds of Y. Maybe we want to make sure that no English word ends in J, so I'm still going to keep some of those. And I also want to add the soft C and soft G sound. So you can see it's so easy to modify the decks as kids are making progress. When you do that, make sure to change your notes. So I am adding to this deck the soft C and G cards. I hit complete, makes the changes for me. So when I go to my blending drill or my visual drill, I'll see those changes there. When I have my G card, you'll see my open and closed. You can practice the soft and hard sounds of G. At this time, I want to show you how to save decks. So I've created a basic deck and a kindergarten deck. Under my action button, you can see that I could save them individually, but I prefer to save all. So when the deck is saved, on the bottom of my screen, you'll see a JSON file. So I know that I have saved those decks, and to show that I have saved them in that way, I'm going to remove them all. And it's asking me, are you sure? Yes, I want to remove them all. So you can see that I have deleted all of my decks. Oh my gosh, they're gone, but they're not. If I simply hit the Install Deck button, it will take me to my download file. I can click on all decks, and you see it's the JSON file, and click on Open, and they're back. So my decks are right back into the My Decks section. There's another way that I can save my decks. I can set a backup provider. I simply click on the button, select a Dropbox or a Google. I'm going to select Dropbox, hit OK. It's letting me know that the files are refreshed each and every day, but right now I'm going to do a forced refresh, and it takes me to my Dropbox. So that's another place where they are saved, or you can save them in Google. Do I want to do a backup? Yes, my backup is complete. So I could find those folders in my Dropbox. And the folder is labeled apps. So when I click on that, I'll see my Rooney card deck, the date that I created it, and it's backed up. So those are the things that I have created. I can save them, rename them in that way as well. So that's how you save a deck. Going to My Decks, hitting Save All, or also going in to set a backup provider. It's important to know that wherever you build your decks, that's where they live. So you can build your decks on your computer, you can build your decks on your iPad. They'll be saved to that device. So right now, they are not linked. So you would need to save them, and you can rename and email your files to another device if that's what you would choose to do. Thank you so much. If there's anything that we can do to assist you, please just let us know.